There comes a moment quiet, almost invisible, when a gentle heart finally breaks its own silence. It doesn't come with shouting or drama. It comes in the way your hands tremble when you can't say yes anymore. In the way your chest aches when you realize you've spent your whole life being what everyone needed except yourself. You start to notice how tired you are. Not the kind of tired that sleep can fix, but the kind that comes from carrying too many stories that aren't yours. The kind that grows from saying it's fine when it's not, from being the calm in every storm but never being allowed to fall apart. And somewhere deep inside, a small voice begins to whisper, "What about me?" That whisper changes everything. You see, people think that sensitive souls are fragile, but they're not. They're the ones who've been strong for too long, strong in silence, strong in understanding, strong in pretending it doesn't hurt. Until one day, they stop. And that moment is not weakness, it's awakening. When you stop pleasing everyone, the world doesn't applaud. It shakes. People who once loved your softness may call you distant. The ones who benefited from your yes will question your heart. But this time, you won't bend to explain yourself, because for the first time, you're learning that peace doesn't mean pleasing. Peace means honesty, and sometimes honesty means saying no. This isn't rebellion, it's remembrance of who you were before the world told you that love means disappearing. Before you confused being wanted with being worthy. Before you learned to hide your fire just to stay safe. If you're listening to this, and something inside you feels like it's cracking open, stay with me. Breathe. You're not breaking, you're returning. Returning to the you that existed before the overgiving, before the silence, before the exhaustion. And if you've ever been the one who gives until it hurts, who feels everything too deeply, who's tired of being strong all the time, this message is for you. Let's walk together through the moment a sensitive soul finally decides to stop pleasing everyone and starts living as themselves. If these words already touch something inside you, don't rush, just breathe. And if you feel seen here, stay with this space, subscribe, share your story, and let's remind each other that softness, when it belongs to itself, is power. There is a peculiar ache that follows you after years of being the peacekeeper. You feel it in your chest when you try to rest, but your mind replays the needs of others. You feel it in your body when you sense tension in the room and instantly take it upon yourself to fix it. You've become fluent in the language of everyone's pain but your own, and at first, when you stop pleasing everyone, that silence feels unbearable. Because for so long, your safety depended on being good, being liked, being kind, being easy. You built your identity around making others comfortable. But as you start to withdraw from that pattern, it's almost like losing gravity. You ask yourself, who am I if I'm not saving, soothing, or softening everything around me? The emptiness terrifies you. The quiet feels like rejection. But beneath that noise, something sacred stirs the faint rhythm of your own heartbeat returning. At first, the world doesn't understand. The people you once rescued may accuse you of being cold. The ones who admired your endless patience might recoil from your new boundaries. They don't see that you're not angry, you're healing. You're learning that love without self-respect is not love at all, it's surrender. And you've surrendered enough. There's grief in this stage. Grief for the version of you who tried so hard to be good. You'll remember all the times you said yes when your body begged for rest. All the moments you smiled when you wanted to scream. And the memories will sting because they reveal how much of yourself you gave away in exchange for peace that was never yours to hold. But slowly, something inside shifts. The silence stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like clarity. You begin to notice that not every conversation deserves a response. Not every invitation needs your presence. Not every person who needs you deserves you. Your worth stops being measured by how much you can endure. It begins to live quietly inside you, calm, untouchable, whole. And in that stillness, you rediscover the beauty of your sensitivity. It was never meant to be your burden. It was always your gift. The way you notice small details, the way you feel deeply, the way you love without condition, none of that was wrong. It was only misplaced. It belonged to you first, not to the world that took it for granted. You'll have days when you relapse, when you say yes out of habit, when the guilt creeps in like an old ghost. But this time, you'll catch yourself. You'll pause, breathe, and remind your heart that love doesn't have to mean losing yourself. You'll smile softly and whisper, "Not anymore." And for the first time in your life, that no won't sound harsh. It will sound like home. When the sensitive soul finally begins to reclaim themselves, life feels both foreign and familiar. You start noticing how much noise you used to tolerate, how often you said things you didn't mean just to avoid conflict, how often you dimmed your joy so no one felt small beside it. You begin to realize that every time you silenced your truth, a little piece of your aliveness went quiet too. Now, with every boundary you set, something inside you wakes up. You feel it in your body, the subtle calm in your stomach when you honor your limits, the softness in your shoulders when you say no and nothing terrible happens. You learn that you can survive being misunderstood, that you can love people and still choose yourself. That peace is not earned through perfection, it's found in permission. Permission to be real. It's not an easy path. There will be mornings when you miss the old patterns, when you long for the comfort of being needed, when silence feels heavier than chaos. You'll wonder if you've become too distant, too self-protective. But each time you stay true to yourself, you build a quiet strength, not the kind that resists the world, but the kind that no longer needs the world's approval to exist. You'll notice how the world starts responding differently too. Some people drift away, not because you've changed too much, but because you no longer feed the dynamic that kept them close. And others, the ones who see your authenticity, will move closer, gently, without demanding anything. These are the souls who don't need your mask. They find comfort in your truth. It's a strange kind of peace, one that doesn't depend on being liked. You'll walk into rooms and no longer feel the need to adjust your energy. You'll listen to others' pain without making it your mission to fix them. You'll begin to understand that love, real love, is not rescue, it's presence. It's two whole beings meeting without the need to complete each other. And the most unexpected thing happens, you start forgiving yourself. For all the years you gave too much, for all the times you lost yourself trying to be what others needed. You'll sit in that forgiveness and realize there was never anything wrong with you. You were simply a heart that loved too hard in a world that taught you to hide it. Now, you don't hide anymore. You don't over-explain. You don't chase. You simply exist fully, quietly, with a dignity that doesn't need to prove itself. And people will notice. They'll say you've changed. They'll sense your peace and not understand it. But you'll just smile, because you know now, your sensitivity is not a weakness to outgrow. It's the language of your soul, finally spoken in truth. There comes a day almost ordinary when you wake up and realize you no longer feel the pull to please. The weight you've carried for years feels lighter, not because the world has changed, but because you finally have. You don't rush to answer messages out of guilt. You don't replay conversations to decode what you did wrong. You move slower now, deliberate, calm, grounded in your own rhythm. And for the first time in a long time, your life feels like it belongs to you. It's in the small things. Drinking your coffee without rushing. Saying no and feeling peace instead of panic. Letting silence fill the room without needing to rescue it. The stillness that used to terrify you now feels sacred. You begin to understand what Carl Jung meant when he said that the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Because this quiet, steady, returning to yourself is that privilege. It's not dramatic, it's divine. You look back at the version of you who once carried everyone's pain, and you no longer feel anger or pity. You feel tenderness. You see someone who just wanted love, safety, connection, someone who thought they had to earn it by disappearing. And you whisper to that past self, you did your best, but now it's my turn to live. Healing doesn't mean becoming harder. It means becoming real. It means learning that being gentle doesn't mean being small, that empathy doesn't mean endurance. That love, the truest kind, never demands that you vanish to prove it's real. You can still be kind and say no. You can still care and walk away. You can still love deeply and refuse to shrink. When a sensitive soul stops pleasing everyone, the world doesn't lose its softness, it rediscovers it. Because that kind of soul, once free, begins to love in a purer way, no longer out of fear, no longer out of guilt, but out of truth. And truth is the most beautiful form of peace there is. So wherever you are right now, if your heart is tired, if your soul feels heavy, if you're learning how to stop apologizing for your existence, know this: you are not broken for feeling deeply. You are not too much for needing gently. You are simply someone who has remembered that self-respect is a sacred act of love. If these words have found you in that in-between space, halfway between exhaustion and awakening stay, you belong here. Let yourself breathe again. And if this journey speaks to you, share it with someone who's still trying to hold the world together with their bare hands. Maybe they need to know they can finally put it down. Thank you for being here. Thank you for feeling. If you wish to keep walking through these quiet awakenings with me, subscribe, leave a thought in the comments, and let's remind the world the most sensitive hearts are the strongest ones, not because they never break, but because they always rise softer and truer every time they do.